Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Mysteries and Oddities video. Well, it's time for another new entry here based on one of your newer suggestions. This one following the theme that I was recommending this go around, involving talking about trivial items, how things came to be, why certain things are the way they are within this world, and then the two of us, all of us essentially trying to figure out this information and then presenting it as a good resource of knowledge for you out there. I'm going to give this a couple more tries just to again see it out. It's always nice to branch out and see how things go, and then I'll also mix in some of your older suggestions, some of the more traditional mysteries and oddity suggestions as well. But again, it's always great to see like where I can lead my YouTube channel. It's always good to try these things out to see like what is a good success and what isn't, and I think that so far the reception is pretty good. So in any case, let's go ahead and let's talk about this mystery, and it has to do with the pineapple and why it's been for the longest time seen as both a symbol of hospitality and then also a symbol of luxury. So if you've ever wondered that, like why you see pineapples adorned on certain doorknobs, or why you see them adorned in front of certain homes, or why decals seem to focus on pineapples within certain parts of the world, here's the information why it came to be, or at least the best closest theories as to why that is so. So let's go ahead, let's talk about the mystery of the pineapple being the symbol of hospitality and of luxury. For starters, let's talk about it being a luxury item. Who would have known that today, obviously the pineapple is just everywhere. You don't just consider it a luxurious item per se. You can go to the grocery store, in this case nearby my local HEB, and buy pineapple just like anybody else would. Your neighbor, your next door co-worker, whatever is the case, every single person has equal status when it comes to getting a pineapple. But did you know that a couple of centuries back, when it was first introduced within certain parts of the world, because of its rarity, that's where it came to be more along the lines of, in this case, a luxurious item. And so here's how the theory goes on how that came to be. It all started no less than with Christopher Columbus, if you could believe that story. Apparently, when he came across, in this case, various parts of the seas, and then came across especially the Caribbean, then he was able to encounter, in this case, the pineapple among some of the other tropical fruits that were associated in that location. And so seeing it, tasting it, and realizing how sweet it was, I myself personally, I don't like pineapple. It's just one of those things where I guess my taste buds don't necessarily accord to it, but others definitely love it. In this case, Columbus and his crew did as well. They brought it over back to Europe. And then because, I guess, if you tie 2 plus 2 together, in this case, because of his celebrity status at the time, and then because of his success involving his trips, and then welcoming everyone, in this case, with this brand new exotic fruit, something that was essentially so good tasting but so rare, that's why it seemed like it took on a status of luxury. And so others, I guess they brought over enough to start gardening these things, to start making them blossom wherever they are usually placed in the ground or in the trees, whatever is the case. And when that happened, gardeners took over. They were able to do so, try to do as much as they could, but it was still kind of rare to grow this fruit because it has to be under the right conditions. I guess during trial and error, up until the 1600s, that's where they were figuring out essentially like what was the trick to make this particular fruit grow. So because of that continued rarity, those that did have it were considered gifted with extraordinary luxury, like it was an automatic status symbol to them. If you had a pineapple in your home during that time, then you were seen as someone who had wealth, someone who had luxury, someone who was able to have enough power, if you can, to be able to have this coveted item. And so that's why pineapples were gifted. They were considered a very, very luxurious gift in those cases, especially by royalty. And so instead of, I guess, swapping out gold, diamonds, whatever is the case, in those situations, they were able to do so with pineapple. Kind of crazy when you think about it today, because again, I could go into the grocery store today and buy a barrel of them if I wanted to. But back then, because of their extreme rarity, that was a whole other situation. Of course, things turned a little bit afterward, whenever there was a good amount of trade that started happening, I guess, from places where pineapples were originally abundant, especially involving sea trades, those large ships, the ones that carry all those giant cargoes. Once that started to solidify, then the idea of a pineapple was not something that was suddenly considered luxurious. Oh, I forgot to mention this too. They're also were considered very, very luxurious because of their fragile status. There's only a certain amount of time, I guess, whenever you have the pineapple taken out, that you could have it ready to eat or ready to gift or whatever is the case. And so when that happens, then that just added more to its luxuriousness because of its short time period, its half-life, if you will, when it came to its existence. But yes, once in this case trade started happening, especially towards the 1900s and upwards, more and more trade, then that's where stuff involving the pineapple just started losing its luxuriousness. But not before it took on a different stance. In this case, where it was more along the lines of architectural, ornamental pieces, stuff I was mentioning earlier, where if things weren't being gifted, at least the symbol itself of a pineapple took over. Like people were placing them in their homes specifically as wall decorations, on the doorknobs, like I was mentioning earlier, pictures of pineapples, I guess, whatever is the case, all the stuff involving these things that showcase whenever you walk into a home making first impressions, then people, if they couldn't have the real thing, they could at least try to imitate it by having some kind of, I guess, adornments, whatever is that they could within their home, whatever type of object they have, and then that took over another sense of luxuriousness. But yes, pretty interesting, very fascinating. Now, in terms of the pineapple as a symbol of hospitality, it is true as well. It can also serve a dual role. In this case, not necessarily luxuriousness, but more along the lines of a welcome status. And according to the legends, this is how it began. Apparently, there was a set of unnamed sea captains from New England who would also sail over to the Caribbean islands. I guess in this case, there they were on their run trying to obtain various amounts of cargo, including the most coveted pineapples. But whenever they would come back, in this case to New England, they would do so, but showcasing a pineapple, but as a way of I guess letting people know that they were able to make a safe return. Especially, like, let's say if a group of people came by their homes, but the sea captain was not there per se, like he was back, but he wasn't there at the home at the time, then they would spear a pineapple right on a fence post outside of their home, because that was the way of the captain to let everyone know that yes, I am back, yes, I am okay, and at the same time it was welcoming them to visit and then share his stories, share his food, whatever is the case, regale them with his experiences now that he's back. Sometimes, of course, the captain is there, other times he's not, but either way, it was a great way for them to showcase a universal symbol that stated, yes, all are welcome, come on in, and then that way I can go over this information with you. So that's how the pineapple became, if you could believe that, a symbol of hospitality. Pretty interesting, no? The idea that these captains and then other seafarers were able to take this pineapple, whatever they gathered from their travels overseas, and then to let everyone know that they were okay, and at the same time welcoming them back because of their trip, they would stick it in front of their home, usually in front of a post, to do so. But tradition took over even afterward, whenever that particular stance was no longer needed involving the physical pineapple there. That's where homes instead started to showcase them still around their location, not again as a sign of luxury in this case, but more along the lines of something involving that yes, we are so and so business, we are so and so personal residence, but we help and welcome everyone to come on in. Hotels took over with regards to that mentality, so did restaurants in terms of their hospitality. That's why if you go to certain places, you can see the pineapple in front of like a decal of some kind, something showcasing that yes, that things are good. Come on in. We are definitely welcoming you. Not in a sense against of luxury, but more along the lines of yes, that's them giving their I guess. In this case, their permission for everyone to come in. So, but that's it. That's pretty much the info associated with the pineapple as a symbol of hospitality. Interesting, though, how it came from a physical action, and then once that action, I guess, died off throughout the years, the remnants of the pineapple as that symbol still stood strong. It's still there in a lot of places to this very day. But yes, very fascinating info. When it comes to the pineapple, it's interesting because I'll be looking out for that stuff later on, especially here in the Austin area. I haven't seen, honestly, too many pineapples decorating many places, like personal residences or businesses, nothing along those lines. But if I do see one somewhere around our area, then it'll tell me like exactly what it means now that I know that little bit of information. So, all right, everybody. If anybody has any more info, anything else that I missed, something else that you could share involving the origins of the pineapple for those dual roles, please place those comments below. That'd be really, really great to hear. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.